We got another Patreon request here. On this episode, I'm reviewing the show That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. The review was requested by Patreon member Marcigo42069. And before I get started, let's give a little background on this. This show actually has been around in my life for the past 2 years. I have managed to avoid it. I've been told you should go watch That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I thought it was a harem isekai because the fact the name of it, and I was like, yeah, this is not gonna be a good one. However, because Patreon, I'm now reviewing it. And what is our series that we review? This is when we break down series review. We look at anime series, TV show series, give them a grade A through F plus or minus, do count. And there's a review you want me to do, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best as I can. And there's also Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 I get to review as soon as possible. Get it right on the Patreon before everything else. Get on Patreon before on Facebook and YouTube. Because you're paying for me to do it, and I go watch it for you. And Marcigo wanted me to watch only 6 episodes, but Mama didn't raise no punks, so I watched all 24 episodes of season 1 to give you guys this solid review. Now, today's episode is about, as I said earlier, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime from 2018. And what is this show about? The show's about a 30-year-old gentleman by the name of Satoru who gets killed protecting his friends from stabber. The dude was running up on him. He jumps in the way, gets stabbed. And as he's dying, he pretty much said like he felt pain, he feels heat, he feels cold, all these things. And this great sage takes his life spirit and reincarnated as a slime in another universe. And he becomes a slime by the name of Rimuru. And Rimuru is pretty much starting to get all these creatures in this universe, including humans, orcs, butterfly creatures, fairies, lizard people, forest DDTs, all these types of ogres and mystical creatures getting together to live in harmony in this nation. That is the gist of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. This is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the show yet, go watch it and come back to it. Now, this is an isekai. This is not a harem anime, which I was happy about. It is a comedy, and it is kind of a shonen anime. Pretty much, Rimuru is your One Punch Man. He's Saitama. He is 100% OP. Can't be stopped by anything because he doesn't feel anything. He's absorbing everything. Slime is considered one of the most powerful creatures in this universe, and that's what he is. He absorbs everything he come across. And as his humanoid self, his human personality, his past life is trying to get adjusted to this world, he was like, you know what? I don't like the fact that we all not, treating each other correctly. I'm gonna just start treating people how I want to treat them. I'm gonna treat them nice. I'm a good person. Just do your thing. Don't cause any problems. Well, by him doing that and bringing the people underneath this wing and giving them names, he ended up giving these monsters new found abilities and new powers, and he gets the trust of everybody and becomes pretty much a leader of a nation of monsters that make pacts with demon lords and human kings and stuff like that. The things that I love about this show is the slice of life element of it. The Rimuru going through and talking to people and breaking stuff down and learning about the culture and the world building of this show. He's learning about all this, and the show give it to you so you know, like, okay, this is a human nation here. Here's a lizard nation. Here's a village of orcs, a village of goblins, and there's a dragon that's been locked away. Like, you learn about all these things and past stuff. Like, the world building in the show is really good, and the fact that you get to see Rimuru grow in this world, you can see him learning about things and how people move and navigate. I love that. I love the slice of life element of it. And then when he gets certain people like the ogres, and they join him and they get transformed into like humans / ogre warrior people, and they protect him like his bodyguards. And the way they react around him, I love the comedy aspect of it. There's one girl where he was like, oh no, because the show is also self-aware in a sense. Like, they pick tropes of modern day media. Can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. Like, for example, Salt Bay is in the show at one point. There's like ogres. Or goblins doing like Salt Bay. There's a Dragon Ball Z reference. There's a Yancha reference. There is a power up reference. Like all the different stuff that happened like in other media is in this show as well, which I love it. But there's a scene where Rimuru is getting fed by one of his ogre ladies, and he goes, "Oh no, don't tell me this is the trope where she's super hot but don't know how to cook." And the other two ogres is like completely not paying him any mind, and he's like, "How dare you do this when y'all betrayed me?" Like, I love the comedy and slice of life elements of this show. I love the world building. That's another thing I love. I love how the world builds itself and you get to learn what's going on. The things that I don't like, well, I also love the character design. Before I get into that, character design I think are pretty cool. And as far as animation goes, I think this is a solid like anime for its modern time. Like, it's good with like Tokyo Revengers and other anime I've seen. Like, Call Me Can't Communicate. The style of the anime is right there with everything else. So it's like solid. The things I don't like, the pacing of the show. I feel like this show moves really quick. It's 24 episodes, but there's a character that named Shimizu, or get her name real quick. Shizu. Sorry, not Shimizu, but Shizu. There's a character named Shizu who's there for the first six episodes. She's like a powerful warrior that Rimuru likes. Rimuru likes her. And I kind of wish they would have built this relationship with them before she gets killed. But they don't. They give like 2 or 3 episodes. They give 3 episodes, because the first 6 episodes you're learning about what's going on. So the first 2 episodes you learn about what's going on. The next 2 episodes he meets the goblins and then go to the human village. And then like the 4 and 6, Rimuru and Seiju and some people go to the village, and Rimuru like befriends everybody, and then she has a demon inside of her, or a spirit inside of her, that takes over, and you get this big fight scene that happened for about an episode. After that, it's over, and then you have this talk between Shizu and Rimuru. Shizu wants Rimuru to take over his body, or take over her body in a sense, or just pretty much put her inside of him so she can rest as she's dying, and he pretty much does that, like takes over her body and thus gets a humanoid body in a sense. And I wouldn't say he really takes over, he more absorbs her body and gets a humanoid body. So think of Cell from Dragon Ball Z. When he absorbed the android, his body transformed. Same thing Rimuru does with Shizu. But he has Shizu's memories, and he learns more about her and what she goes through, and kind of want to fulfill her wish. With that being said, I felt like it just moved too quick. Like, it should have dragged out a little longer. It should have maybe make Shimuru's death happen episode 15 or episode 16, where you're like, oh, my heart, when she dies, versus like she dies within the first 10 episodes, and you're just like, okay, well, booty, she's dead. Like, well, all right, well, but I do like the fact that it does build on top of that. You do get like the story of it. For manga wise, perfect. I think the story, manga wise, and book light novel that it is, perfect. I think it's perfect. As far as the anime goes, you could drag it out a little bit longer, make fight scenes last a little bit longer, and showcase more characters. I know when the enemy shows up at this point in season 1, because by the time episode 23, 24 came around, I didn't really feel like the team was in danger, because of the fact that Rimuru could just absorb everybody using this power skill of gluttony. He can absorb everybody, and therefore takes over where their abilities are. And I was like, I feel like he's never in true danger. And if he does fight somebody like Melim, who is another demon lord who's super powerful, he just outwits himself, which I like the fact that he did that for her. He gave her food, like, hey, I have really nice food here. You want some honey? But for everybody else, like major fights, he just absorbed them, and there you go, gets their power. That's it. And I kind of wish they showcase other characters that have a little bit more struggle. Like One Punch Man does a good job of this, where you have characters like Genos, who will fight for 2 episodes and not win. You think you get close, but you don't win. Then Saitama comes in and saves the day. I think that's a good way to do it, versus just, all right, they have a few hits. We kept making dents, and then Rimuru was like, hell, let me give it a shot. Boom. But because of how powerful he is, all these other monsters respect him and follow his lead, because he's a powerful person. Yeah, I like that. But the the pacing of how quick everything flows is probably the downfall of this anime for me. And I kind of wish that they made it a little bit longer or showcase characters a little bit more, so that way you can have a little more moments with them before Rimuru comes and saves the day. Alright, let's kind of get into characters and details of the show. So that time I got Reincarnated as a Slime came out in 2018. It was a light novel first, and then got that into the anime, and then a manga came after it. The writers is Kazuyuki Fudeyasu. It is a isekai anime, which means you get transported from one world to another world, to go to a different world and build a life. This is an isekai anime. It is directed by Yasuhito Kikuchi, produced by Yoei Ito and Shigeto Sugimoto, licensed by Crunchyroll Funimation, and music's by Elements Gardens. Studio is 8-Bit, is the studio that works on it, on the anime, and it's currently still going on to this day. The characters, you have Rimuru. Rimuru, at first, I didn't get behind him. I was like, okay, cool. He's just like your regular character here that you send the world through. Good guy who wants to get friends with everybody. Like, he not really friends. Like, he just like, hey, you're a good person. It's the good side of you. Would you join my village? Like, anytime somebody does something wrong, he's like, hey, it wasn't you who did it. Let's give you a second chance. He's pretty much like cool, like a dude who has a like gentle soul. But at first, when you first meet him, he talks about like when he gets brought into the other world, like I never had a girlfriend. He said he comes out as a girl crazy character. Like there's an episode where they go to a gentleman's club in a sense, not really like that kind of club, but it's more like there's a bunch of ladies there. It's more of a gentleman club, and he's like, oh my gosh, girls everywhere. Pretty much just the dude who never seen a girl before kind of reaction. I was like, why does anime always have the trope of the main character as a girl crazy character, or he guy who doesn't care about girls at all and just purely focus on his goals and dream? Like either it's both. There's never a in between. Well, it's funny because Rimuru actually does develop into that in between character where there's times where he's like, oh my gosh, girls, and there's other times he's just like, you know what, it's cool. Like he's a slime. He is legit in the girls' like hot tub or bathtub, not bathtub, but bathhouse with them, and as they all taking baths, he's either in the girls' bathhouse or he's in the guys' bathhouse, depending on where he just feels comfortable with that day. He's actually non-gender because he's a slime, so therefore it doesn't matter where he goes. Girls love him because he's small and squishy. Guys like, oh, he's powerful. Like he's legit. Like just either or. When he takes over Seiju's body, he actually is like, okay, let me see here. Let me see what kind of body style I want to go with. So he goes like, give me more of a older guy body, because he looks like more of a young adult, probably like 18, 19-year-old boy. So he's like, give me an older gentleman's body, like older man. And he's like, okay, well, cool. And he's like more masculine. Okay, cool. Like, all right, how about more feminine? He's like, do I have anything down there? When he turns back into the man, he's like, no, I don't. So it was like, he's a slime. So therefore, he doesn't really need to eat. He doesn't really need to do anything. He just exists in a sense, as far as his body goes. But Rimuru, just being a gentle soul, kind-hearted character, you can get behind him. He wants to make sure he holds his debts to other people, make sure people are taken care of. But then also times where he doesn't trust certain characters, like Gota. He like goes to them, get his butt kicked, and then Gota as it wins a fight, he's like, how do y'all believe that? How? Like he freaks out because he's like, how do you guys believe this? I can't believe y'all saw this coming. Okay, I guess I should trust my people more. Like he is the audience in a sense, where the writer has written up characters, and Rimuru's reaction is what the reaction the audience is having at the time of the certain scenes in the episode. So I like Rimuru. Think he's a solid protagonist, good character. You have Gota. Gota is like your comic relief character who kind of gets tagged along. He's a goblin as well, or he's a goblin who kind of like, he's a weak character who's also super strong. They shouldn't get taken lightly. That you can see how strong characters are getting. is gauged for him. Like at first you think he's gonna be the Krillin or Yamcha of the group, but he's not. He's actually a pretty strong character, and he fights this guy named Gabiru, who I love Gabiru. Gabiru is hilarious. When Gabiru showed up, he does this whole thing like how he gonna run over this village because goblins and ogres. I'm gonna run over this village. I'm a lizard king or lizard prince. I'm gonna run over this village, and he goes to show you guys how really weak you guys are. Wow. Like the voice actor in the scene stops and it does his actual voice, and then go back to voice acting.
I am strong! Much stronger than you. Wow. Yeah, I don't see any goblins.
I love Gabiru's dub, I watch it dub actor who really brings the character to life. He's a dude who thinks he's all that, think he's a bag of chips, but at the same time he has a group of followers who's like, oh my god, Gabiru the best. He's a lizard slash dragonoid guy, and he's just a goofy character. So him and Gota, I put them in the same group as like this goofy character who can do a little good work, but they're not relied upon like they should. They're comic relief characters. Love them, part of the show. You have Xion. Xion is, in a sense, your fan service character. She's super strong, super powerful, but also like the wear revealing clothes. And she's gonna kick butt and also sometimes put Rimuru in situations because she will say things that are like, Rimuru's like, I didn't actually speak for me, but now you're speaking for me. What are you doing? Stop. Just a solid character to play off of Rimuru, who's more like level-headed. She is not level-headed, and she's like his secretary. Love her. Bini Maru, who is kind of the leader of the ogres. He is another guy who's like Rimuru's right-hand man, and he also takes over like leadership roles, stuff like that. Another cool, solid character. You have Soe, who's the Sasuke of the group. Another fun character. Ringard, who is the old man of the group, who's kind of like the mayor of the goblin, who's a mayor of everything. Cool character as well. You have Valadora, who's a dragon that gets captured that's currently inside Rimuru on this season. He got locked away. We don't know his story yet, but he's there for a reason. Then you got Ranga. Ranga is pretty much Rimuru's right-hand man. So Bini Maru's is like a right-hand man, and then Ranga is like his main right-hand man. Like it's his werewolf dog that they'll be there to support Rimuru no matter what. He lives in Rimuru's shadow sometimes and shows up in like places you're like, oh my god, this giant werewolf came out of nowhere. Or a dire wolf. Love this character. He also comes in, he kicks butt as well. And pretty much he's like, I got you no matter what, Captain. It's like One Piece. I got you no matter what, leader, like you're okay, I got your back. And then there's some time where those characters like Bini Maru and Ranga won't even like, they won't let Rimuru step up. They'll fight before, like, you don't have to get your hands dirty, we got you. And I like another thing about some of these characters, how they all act on their own in a sense, but at the same time they respect Rimuru so much where they will let Rimuru make the final decision, but they will do things in their own accord. I like that. I like how these characters navigate, like they're not just all one note, they're all different people with different personality. And then you have Melim, who is a demon lord. She is a fun character. I enjoy her. She pretty much like sees a strong opponent, wants to fight him, and then becomes friends with him. And they're just like, I'm besties with him, we're besties. And she tries to find her way to fit in with everybody, but she's a demon lord, so everybody's like, do we really trust her? Being friends with her could put us in problems. But okay, let's give it a shot. Let's see what goes on from here. We don't know her true stories or her true intentions, but right now she says she's good friends with Rimuru, and they actually have a good fight and a good battle with each other too. Last but not least, we got Shizu. Shizu, she is like the main reason at this point. She is kind of the MacGuffin for Rimuru to have the story progress. Like her goals and aspirations, what Rimuru takes over. For the most part, she was like a quiet girl who, and when we meet her, she's more quiet and reserved, and she's on a mission to find somebody. Well, Rimuru takes up that mission when she dies, and she pushes his story on forward. You get a whole episode with her in episode 24 about her backstory and what she does. but we probably get more of that in season 2. And I guess I can talk about Haikuru. He just the older ogre who just he's there. He's an old man who kind of gives tips and hints, and just the old wise guy. That's who he is in this story. For the most part, like, these characters are great. I love the characters. I love the design of the characters. I love how they all different drawing, different styles, and they all different personalities. It's solid. I think the orcs. So not the orcs, but the ogres as a group are probably my favorite group of characters in the story. And Milam, I always mess her name up, but Milam, she's a fun character for me too. And I'm excited to see where she goes as well. All right, and Gabiru, I love Gabiru. Gabiru is just hilarious. He's just a fun character that just think he's all in a bag of chips. Any other thoughts? I did watch this in dub, and I enjoyed this in dub. I think the voice actors are going all in the dub show, and they're going 110%. What gets me in this show is there's times where, because you're watching it dub, the show will put in, and maybe they did the same thing in sub too, because you're watching subtitle, they will show something about that pop up before it happens. So they're like water resistant, and then the next thing will show Rimuru grabbing something that gives them water resistance, or it'd be like Leaf Village, and then next scene shows up, it's like the Leaf Village. You see it, and you're like, what the heck? Like, why the wording popping up before the actual thing? I'm not sure that was intentional. I'm not sure it was supposed to be on purpose, but it throws me off at times, and I'm like, I don't like that, but it's cool. Music-wise, the music's okay. It doesn't really stand out. Theme song-wise, the closing theme song of season 1, the closing theme song, the first closer, really got me. I enjoyed the first closer. After listening to it multiple times, I was like, I actually want to listen to it on my own. And the second opener is good. I like listening to that one. As far as animation goes, it's an opener of an anime, so it's gonna show you stuff that's gonna happen in the anime. You'll see little fight scenes, a walking scene kind of thing. But it's a classic opener, like the classic opening tropes. But as far as the songs go, the closer, season 1's first closer is good, and then the second open for season 1 is good. That's about it. Yep, that's about it. Is this an anime you should binge? Yeah, if you can binge an anime, like I binged it, I think it's a good one to binge. Put it on, let it ride. And grading time, I'm gonna grade. That time I got reincarnated as a slime season 1, I'm gonna grade season 1 a solid B. An 85% for me. I was on the fence when I first started as C to 85 to 80. Actually, it was C to B range. I was like C plus to 85%. But yeah, it's hit me with an 85% for season 1. I enjoyed this season. I had a fun time with this. I like the characters. I like the world building. I like the slice of life element of it. The action is cool when it happens, but the thing I dislike with the action is too short. It could be longer. Stories too short. It could put a little more filler in to get you more to get you more used to certain characters. So when they do something bad happen to or something big happen to you, you have more emotions behind them. The music is okay. The music is okay with this show. And I think the pacing of it just moved too quick. They can slow it down just a little bit. That way you have more gravity. Also, because of the fact that Rimuru is such a powerful character, I don't ever feel like they're in danger. So the show can find ways to make it where other characters are in danger, that they might lose their life here and there, and Rimuru comes and saves them, it can be a little bit better. But I enjoyed the main story of this. I enjoyed the characters. I love the slice of life. Love the world building in this show. So yeah, for this to give a B for me, an 85%. Also, just love the comedy aspect of it too. I'm pretty sure if I didn't talk about it earlier, I talked about another clip of off on the edit stuff. That, like, I love how the show has like modern day jokes in it and tropes in it about like how certain characters are, you know, the hot character that's the babe who is super hot but can't cook, or it's the Salt Bae meme that's been in here, or the memes from Dragon Ball Z. I love that. I love that show. It's also a jokey comedy show, but at the same time, you know, a serious show that you can watch and enjoy. Alright, so Crunchyroll gives the show a 4.9 out of 5, and IMDb gives the show an 8.1 out of 10. Let me see if I get season 1 actual grade. There's an overall rating. So season 1. So there's not really a rating for each season. Rotten Tomatoes gives the show a 92% overall. And oh no, that's season 1. So Rotten Tomatoes, the audience gives That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime season 1 a 92%. So they give it an A minus. And IMDb just has the 8.1 out of 10, which is a B minus. And then of course Crunchyroll gives a 4.9. What was it? 4.9 out of 5, which that is A plus. Yeah, they give it an A plus. So yeah, that's their grading on it. I give it season 1. I give this a 85%, a solid B. So you've seen That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime season 1. What are your thoughts? Please put in the comment section below on that. See you guys next episode of where we break down series review and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if there's a review you want me to watch or do. Let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns? It's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.